I'm not. Again, I hope dad tip number one helped you guys out. Some of you are probably like, I like that. I like the thought process you got there, Swanny. Others of you are like, yes, honey, because maybe your wife started talking to you in the middle of the explanation. You already know the game. Well, Clemson's weigh-in, the big weigh-in, has become an event upon itself, and there was a time where this was broadcasted live. I can remember tuning in and watching Clemson's guys going and standing on the scale and checking in about how much they were weighing. Like it feels like it wasn't all that long ago, but here we are in 2021. And I remember last season they didn't showcase it. They put together the vlog now and they'll have some stuff there on that front. But, just kind of eyeballing some of those things. And again, I got to go in and update I got the whole roster loaded up over the weekend, knowing that these changes were coming. But now I got to go in and put in some updated numbers. But just some of the things that kind of stood out to me running through the list. Joseph Charleston was one to me, a defensive back that stood out. He's put on 14 pounds, going from 190 pounds previously to 204 pounds. And, I think the former 4-star prospect's a kid a lot of people have high expectations for here over the next couple of seasons while he's still in Tiger Town. Andrew Booth put on 6 pounds. Booth, obviously, another defensive back for Clemson, a guy that's going to be called on right out of the gates this year. I really believed before Darion Kendrick's situation played out that your two starting corners for the most of the season were going to be Andrew Booth and Darion Kendrick. Now Booth, to me, solidifies himself as the top corner, and the opposite side will probably end up being it. And look, Mike Reed's going to maneuver through these guys to try to keep fresh legs in the ball game. That's just the way the game is played now. But Sheridan Jones, Mario Goodrich, and some of the other guys I think will fill in on the other side, kind of opposite Andrew. But I expect Andrew to garner the wealth of the snaps. Ajo put on 9 pounds. He's up to 224 pounds. And if you think about how rangy and kind of maybe even gangly might be the right word for what you saw from him, good to see him tacking on about 9 pounds there. Marcus Tate, a big boost, man. For Tate, I think Tate put on somewhere was 290, so 37 pounds for Marcus Tate. And one of the offensive linemen there for your Clemson Tigers putting on some big bucks. Another guy who was a little slimzilla, I think you might call him, was Cade Denhoff, a defensive end. And I can remember looking at pictures of Denhoff coming out of high school and thinking, whew, man, that kid looks more like a wide receiver than a defensive end, coming in at 225, now at 255 pounds. So again, 30 pounds of weight, solid weight, good weight put on for Cade Denhoff. And, when I look back on it, a kid like Davis Allen really, I think, benefited from being in Clemson's program through the years. And I didn't pull his. Let's see what Davis Allen. He's still at 250. But I'm telling you, to kind of watch him progress to that 250 and then to be around him and see how his size. I mean, whether or not he's ever going to be as athletic or as big a weapon as a Jordan Leggett was or Braden Galloway should be is one thing, but he's definitely got the right size and looks the part of a collegiate tight end, and he didn't look the part when he came in. Dakari Collins, who's always been a little bit skinny at 184, 185 pounds, tacked on 16. He's up to 200 pounds. And then there's the case of Jalen Lay, whose weight has probably been as big of a topic for some people throughout his tenure as a 6'7" frame. But Jalen Lay trimmed back 9 pounds this past season. And, He arrived at Clemson, and I don't have his original weights sitting here in front of me. I have to go look him up, but he arrived at Clemson looking pretty fair, and then all of a sudden he started to look like an offensive tackle for a while. I mean, just kind of ballooned up, but now slimming back just a little bit. I think possibly a byproduct of that is looking at the roster, looking at the time you got left to play, and recognizing that if you want to get on the field, you're going to have to do a little bit when it comes down to streamlining things in the waist. 803-450-0086, 803-450-0086. Jordan McFadden, tax on 10 pounds. He goes from 300 pounds up to 310. Same could be said for Mitchell Mays. One of the other things I did notice while doing the roster work over the weekend, though, and I didn't report this, it is what I would call the incredible shrinking Clemson Tiger. Most of these guys, for whatever reason, from the height that we had in our system that we got from Clemson a year ago to this season's height measurements, a lot of these guys lost an inch. I don't know if, at one point they measured them in shoes and at one point they switched off. It's the incredible shrinking athlete. So I know we're talking about weight here today. Walker Parks goes up 11 pounds to 306 from 295. Peyton Page, who was big at 315, is now even bigger at 334. But the crazy thing for me was when I went in and was doing this over the weekend, how many guys I had to go in and adjust their height. Minus an inch. Hardly any did I have to add. Like one or two I had to add. Everybody else lost an inch. So I don't know. The incredible shrinking Tigers. That's what I'll tell you. 803-450-0086. All right, speaking of Tigers, how about another Tiger or another set of Tigers?